Welcome to the Yoked Podcast, where we talk about all things entrepreneurship, real estate, and partnerships. I'm your host, Travis Hall, alongside my co-host and wife, Ingrid. Together, we've been in real estate for nearly 2 decades, always as an equally yoked husband and wife team.
Join us each week as we bring you a new episode. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, follow along, and welcome to this week's episode of
The Yoked Podcast. What's up, and welcome to the Yoked Podcast. Thanks for joining. What's up, babe?
What's up?
Are you excited?
I'm so excited I get to wear earmuffs.
Yes, right. Today we're trying our headsets because it just sounds better. So,
we've gotten some comments on audio quality.
You know, there's a growing pain, and here we are. We're getting better. We're going the Joe Rogan status with the headsets. There's a reason that they're in the room, so let's use them. All right, let's get into it. On today's episode, we're excited. It is a short episode all about a word of the year.
Yeah, I wanted to do this one at the beginning of the year because I do think it's important to have kind of a pillar for the year, something that you are pointed to all year. It can be casual. It doesn't need to be like this North Star kind of thing, but it certainly is helpful to have something to kind of point and direct yourself and put decisions against all year.
It's true. And the funny thing is that, so because of the audio, we're re-recording this one.
We sure are.
We recorded it last month, and we were so proud of ourselves.
Well, because then it was going to post.
I know, we were going to post it, and then it was like, God, it just sounds so bad, and I couldn't use the AI stuff, wouldn't fix it. But the funny thing is, in that recording, talking about the word of the year, I wore my bracelet, and you didn't. And on this recording, I still have my word of the year bracelet. We do this every year. Kids love it. Yes. We love it. It's a good reminder. So all that to say, let's talk about word of the year and why we do it, how we do it, and what is our 2025 word of the year.
I love it. So let's tell the audience first what our version of a word of the year is. Yeah. So I think there's lots of different ways to set goals. We are a goal-setting family. We're kind of in a goal-setting industry. As an entrepreneur, certainly using metrics and SMART goals are very popular. All the business books, et cetera.
What is a SMART goal, real quick? Well, you said that, but SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timeline, and what's the T?
Tremendous.
Tremendous. SMART is an acronym.
Yes. But those are all wonderful. And we like metrics and spreadsheets. But a word of the year helps bring in the kids. And we do it as a family. So certainly you don't have to do it with your kids or as a family. If you're a single person, this is a great opportunity to bring somebody else in that's trusted in your life. But basically, it is a word that you are going to live by for the whole year. So it could be something that you want to manifest in your life. Last year, our word of the year was joy. We wanted more joy. We'd come off a hard year. And gosh, last year wasn't super joyful. It had its moments. But
chunks of the year were joyful.
Yes. But this year, obviously, we chose a word where we can bring the kids in and say, this is what our family stands by. This is a word that we're going to go back to when we're measuring decisions, when we're at a crossroads, something that we can kind of use just to ensure that we are achieving goals in our life over the year. And it's
like a litmus test.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Baseline to bounce, the sounding board word for us.
Yep.
So what is our, drum roll? We'll add drum roll. What is our word?
So our 2025 word of the year is commit.
Commit.
So that is everything from committing to ourselves to committing to each other as a family. Both of the kids have things that they want to do this year, achievements, and our word of commit helps us hold them to that. Hey, the Halls are a family that commits. We are going to commit to soccer, including games, because even when all you want to do is roll in the grass and play with your buddies at practice, soccer also includes games. So, that's our goal.
We're committing to a podcast.
Yeah, quite.
When we were whiteboarding our goals last year at the end of 2024, like the podcast was on it, right? We knew we were doing it. We knew it was going to be hard. We didn't realize how difficult it was going to be, but
Sure.
we are committed to it.
Yeah.
And so this is a good example of like, here we are doing it and we are committed.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. All right. So let's talk about like how we get here and how we get to a word of the year and like some of our past words and how they've shown up in our life as a family.
Yeah. So sometime in October, November, we start kind of assessing the year, what we want to achieve in the following year. And so a lot of that is goal setting, but it's also just chatting through major categories in our life about what things went well, what things didn't go well, areas we want to grow in. So some of those areas for us, we talk about our family, finances, spiritual, key relationships. And so all of those, and for us, it starts with a very casual conversation, usually over dinner. And then we do a goal setting retreat.
A date weekend.
Yes. That's a podcast for another time.
It is. We should do it. We'll do a podcast on that in the fall.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
On goal setting and how we do it.
I love that. But it is just an assessment of where have you been this year? And then where do you want to go next year? So coming off of 2024 and going into 2025, we started setting goals in the fall and late fall. And it was a challenging year for us, really, really hard. And so I think our word is reflective maybe of where you've been more than where you're going sometimes. But we do a bunch of that. And then we just kind of start tossing out words and we talk to the kids about it. And obviously our word has to be a word that is something that they understand.
Right.
A word
it
they
can't
can
be
spell.
too like kind of crazy or unique or like cryptic.
Yeah. Or like perseverance. It's like, well, that's maybe a little
and it needs to fit on a bracelet.
Yes. Yes, it
Okay, let's be real. It's practical. Oh, and like an example, like a couple of the words that we threw around. One was that Anders wanted was adventure.
Yeah.
And Malin wanted adventure as well. And then I think Malin said embark, and Anders is like bark. I want bark is our word. We're like, well, so we kind of narrowed down it, and we did as a family and talked about it, and explained what commit is and what it commitment, and got them on board. And
it's a lot of examples for us. So here are ways that we're going to commit to each other. Here are ways that we're going to commit. Mommy and Daddy are going to commit to you guys. Here are ways that we're going to commit to our work. We're doing like, how are you going to commit to your teacher this next year? Your friends, yourself. Yeah. And then honestly, we use a lot of thesaurus and Chat GPT, and we try to come up with a word that encompasses all of the ideas we've kind of thrown around into something that's clear and concise.
So like, an example is one of our words was grow.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, the year that I left my full-time job at the church, that year was grow, where we knew that was coming, that I was going to leave and step into full-time real estate alongside you. And it was like, this is a growth year. And so, and it was, scary. It was, wow, this is a lot. So it was a growing year. And so that was our word. And then we had joy. We've had courage as a word.
I like that you brought up grow, because I think about it. And at the end of the day, the growth was something that we knew was coming, but we had to lean into. It was scary. It was going to be, a year full of a ton of change. And it was something that we thought, okay, this is a reminder of like, we knew where we were going and here we are. So keep growing.
Exactly. Yeah, it was, I mean, I could do grow every year.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's like, let's keep growing. Let's do it.
Well, and I think too, like if you're having trouble coming up with a word of the year, you're kind of like, really, like where do I even start? One of the things we like to do is visualization exercises. Visualization comes from Miracle Morning. Who wrote that?
Hal Elrod.
Hal Elrod.
Great book.
Great book. We have read it many times. It's harder to follow the Miracle Morning than it is to read about it.
It is, but it's so good when you do it.
It is. And one of the things that he has you do in the morning is visualize.
Savers.
Yeah, the savers. And so it's silence, affirmation, visualization.
Yep. Exercise, reading, and journaling script.
Yeah. Oof, you nailed those. So we have done that as a way of saying, okay, where do I want to be a year from now? So it's November of 2024. Where do we want to be in November of 2025? And you're much better. It's more natural for you,
sure.
this kind of dreamer mentality. And so I usually have Travis start, and then I kind of follow along and I borrow from
I plant the seed and
from his
but it literally
visions.
like for a lot of people that don't do that, it's like weird. But this idea of we literally are sitting there, we're talking, we're like, okay, let's visualize. And so we're like, all right, the time is X. It's November 5th. And we get up from our house and we go on a walk. And we literally just visualize the cool things that we're doing that day. And we have this much money coming in because of X, Y, and Z. Our business is here and the kids are doing this and they're hanging with their friends and they're skiing, whatever it is. And you just dream out loud, but it helps to visualize. You can visualize a long ways away, years out.
Yeah.
But you can also visualize, like less than a year. And it puts it closer, and it makes it easier to like this goal, this word, it makes it more real life.
Yeah. And another way that we've done that is actually through an exercise that we used to use at our old brokerage, but it's for interviewing. And it's basically saying, okay, you encounter yourself a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, you encounter yourself, on a hike or wherever you are, and you say, hey, how have the last 5 years been? How's the last year been? And then it's you answering that question to yourself saying, incredible. It has been amazing. I have achieved so much. I am so happy. I'm this, that, and the other. Well, what has to happen in order for you to be able to look at yourself and say that?
Right. And
so I do love that. Lots of visualizing, and then you'll start to see common threads pull out. So you'll be visualizing, and do it over time. Do it over the course of a month. If you're a single person, do it in a journal so you can go back and reference them.
Yep.
And you will start to see the same words come up. Okay, if I am in this incredible place with the key relationships in my life, what has happened? Okay, if I'm in an incredible place in my business, with my health, anything like that, and you'll start to see some of those words, and that will really help you choose, what's been put on your heart.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of using ChatGPT, honestly. Like,
I know.
like I just use the voice to text feature, and I just like talk to ChatGPT and say, hey,
no, it's remarkable.
Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what we want to do. Give me 5 words that, encapsulate this.
You even helped us meal plan this week.
I did.
ChatGPT, because you hate it so much.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Chat, help me out. Yeah, so using that. And then, what else? What other things would you, like practical tips for someone that's never got a word of the year, or you're starting out, besides ChatGPT and, journaling, what other things? Yeah,
some of those exercises, but then honestly, sharing it with somebody, truly, like somebody who really knows you and loves you. And you'll hear us say this over the course of a lot of podcast episodes, choose somebody who wants you to win, who is like just a total champion for your life, your relationships. You don't feel like they are envious or, have jealousy, but truly, truly grateful for who you are and the way that you are made, and really want you to win. Like if you can find that person and then share some of those words with them, or incorporate them in a conversation, a visualization exercise, absolutely having a sounding board, some kind of mirror to reflect back, is a huge benefit, I think, to choosing your word of the year.
Right. Totally agree. All right, cool. As always, we'll wrap this one up. I think this one's an easy dead giveaway, but today, what are you yoked to?
In 2025, I am yoked to my word of the year, commit.
Same.
I love it.
All right, Ingrid, we've been practicing this.
I'm ready.
People want to reach out to you, connect with you somehow. Where do they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Ingrid Hall.
Likewise, I am at the Travis Hall on all the socials. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along with us as we drop a new episode every single week. And until next week, have a great one.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Yoked Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along as we drop a new episode each week.